self-realization. The veil of ignorance I have overcome. A garden unto myself I have become. Or I am a forest shining with a silvery stream. Or like the morning sun with a smiling beam. My feelings bloom like fragrant flowers. My thoughts are loftier than mountain towers. My peace descends like lunar light, mingled with stillness of the night. My intellect flows like a luminous river to enter the ocean of wisdom forever. I have outgrown the limited mind, having left the names and forms behind. I have torn the veil of ignorance in the glorious state of self-realization. Soham Asmi, I am that am I. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Nilambuja Shyamal Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Maha Sayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, carrying powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Shri Ramcharitmanas in Ayodhya Kanda, and we are towards the verse 86, Doha. When the Da movement moves towards Ha. Da movement means assimilating Dhamma. Dhamma is towards your head. Dan towards your heart. And Daya towards the neighbor. Dhamma, Dhamma, Dan, Daya. And when all this begins to flow, Doha. And it flows towards the whole world, the world becomes a universe. Uni-Doha. So with that, coming in the storyline, Lord Rama, Lakshmana and Sita, led by Sumant in his chariot, have succeeded in separating themselves from all Ayodhya citizens who were going after them. And they were not going backward, they were so much in love with Rama. And Rama adopted a trick, a divine trick. God is the greatest divine trickster. सीता सचिव सहित दो भाई सिंगबेरपुर पहुँचे जाई उतरे राम देव सरी देखी किन्ह दंडवत हर्षु विशेखी. Rama, Lakshmana, Sita and Sumant, they all reached Singaberapur. Pur relates to city. Human personality is a city. And when Dasya Bhav or Sakhya Bhav has developed, that God is friend, with that type of relation, your whole personality becomes Singaverapur, and your soul becomes Nishad. Understand the meaning of Nishad. Normally, human being is Bishad. Constantly is under distress. But if you are friend of Rama, you begin to eat up Nisha, darkness. And you become Adi for eating darkness, addicted to destroying ignorance. It's the Hindi way of saying. You are addicted to something, you are Adi for something. It's a sattvic type of simile. Ginger is used to show how deeply involved you are. लखन सचिव सिय किए प्रणामा सबहि सहित सुख पायऊ रामा. And they got down from their chariot. They beheld Ganges river, Mother Ganges, and with great joy they offered their adorations. They did Dandavat. लखन सचिव सिंह किए प्रणामा सबहि सहित सुख पायऊ रामा. Lakshman, Sumantra, Sita, all offered their adorations. And Rama, along with all, was immensely delighted. Ganga sakala mud mangala mula sab sukha karani harani sab sula. Ganga ji is a fountain source of all that is joyous and auspicious. She is the fountain source of all blessings, and she removes all sufferings, all afflictions, all miseries. From mystical point of view, there are two aspects. That's all this is associated with the Ganges river. So all those who abide by the Ganges, looking at the Ganges, dipping in the Ganges, breathing in the Ganges moisture, and people who are not, they have taken in the bottles Ganges water. And they sprinkle a little of the Ganges water. It's a Shraddha-based association. Ganges is associated with bhakti and jnana. And there is no problem of mankind or any kind that cannot be destroyed with bhakti and jnana. And Ganges becomes a shining illustration. I'm not entering into the story of Ganges, that may be later. But right now, that so much story is associated with Ganges. People walking by the Ganges, they don't just stay enjoying the breeze and all, the Ganges water, etc. They go on telling also stories of sages, saints, and how the Ganges herself came upon the earth. Story of Bhagiratha. Shiva's matted locks. Bhishma. कहीं कहीं कोटिक कथा प्रसंगा राम बिलो कहीं गंगा तरंगा. And Rama sets an example. Just don't go by the Ganges with just a scientific view of Ganges as a river flowing on to the ocean, but a profound mystical bhavana feeling. And of course that bhavana has to extend as you advance to enfold all things of the world. Siya Ram Mai Sab Jag Jani. Every particle of the earth, every particle of your body, and if you can do particles of your feeling, all is basically, in reality, pure awareness. And that vision is the Ganges vision, that Viveka Buddhi, intuitive intellect, that all this is God, Brahman. That vision, like a mother, enfolds your soul and leads to be enfolded by God's love. Kahi kahi kotik katha prasanga. So Rama was not practicing mauna. He was talking and talking to Sita, to the minister, to Lakshmana, looking at them, smiling at them. And not just 5 or 6 virtues of the Ganges. Koti comes in millions. A kotik katha prasanga. The scriptural stories associated with the Ganges river. He went on telling. सची वहीं अनुज ही प्रिय ही सुनाई विबुध नदी महिमा अधिकाई. to his minister, to his younger brother Lakshmana, to his dear wife Sita. He told the glory of the divine river Ganga. Majjanu kinha pantha samagayau, shuchi jalu piyate mudita mana bhayau. And then they all took their bath in the Ganges river. And that brought about removal of their exertion. All this journey had made them tired, but their tiredness retired when they entered the Ganges water. And we have to always understand, put it into a deeper level. Ganges, the stream of bhakti devotion that is freeing the soul of all its impurities, all the karmas. Impurities come in three levels. You have the level of your mind, malas, gross impurities, vikshepa, distractions that stay in your subconscious, and ignorance itself that stays in your unconscious, deep unconscious. Mala, vikshepa, avarana, all swept by the loving sweep created by the Ganges. Big sweeper. So, Majjanukin pantha samagayau. Every soul is under distress. You have gone through a big journey. And everyone is under that exertion. This panthasham, this exertion created by your long tour, that exertion is removed. Panthasham gayav. That's your goal of your life, not to stay tired, exhausted, and dragging your feet to nowhere. But dip into Ganges water, Ganges river. Be swept by bhakti, devotion. And you find now you don't have to exert. Lovingly you are being carried. Panthasham, finished. Shuti jarla piyat mudita mana bhayau. And drinking the Ganges water, enjoying bhakti ras. That's how you drink the Ganges water. Otherwise, ordinary water stays only with your throat, goes into the stomach. But that also has its own. So while drinking sacred water, you must develop bhavana, feeling. That you are enjoying the sweetness of divine love. Mudita mana bhayau. Ma is nectar. And when you eat the nectar, modan, ma od. And how it look like when you have eaten it, mudit. Mind becomes extremely gratified by bhakti ras, Mudit man. Prema mudit man se kaho Ram, Ram, Ram. All these words are important to keep in your mind. The mind gets distressed. Start repeating mudit, mudit, mudit. Another interpretation of mudit, when ma, udit, and the ma begins to, ma is like full moon, begin to shine, showering nectar on your mind. Sumirat jahi mitai shamabharu, tehi shamayah laukika vyavaharu. Tulsidas says that the very remembrance of Rama removes all exertion, all misery, all stress, all grief of the entire world process. That Rama is experiencing Mudit Man by drinking Ganges water. It is just an exemplary illustration. Laukik vyavhar. Shuddha Satchidanandamaya Kanda Phan Bhanukula Ketu Charit Karat Nara Anuharat Sansriti Sagara Setu. And Tulsidas reminds who is Rama. He is Shuddha. Means he is beyond the three modes of nature. As long as you are trapped by nature, you are not absolutely pure. You are shifting from one stage to another. Absolute pure means like the sky, untouched, untainted. Next attribute, Satchidananda. Satchit Ananda. How Brahman is described, pure existence, absolute awareness, absolute bliss. He is Brahman, embodied as Rama. Kandaban Bhanukula Ketu. He is the glories of Raghu's race. Literal meaning, if I go into deeper meaning, Kand is those types of fruit, bulbar fruit, food, like sweet potato is Kand. Rama is a sweet potato in the in the solar light. Rama movement is Uttarayana movement. Surya Kul means Agnir Jyoti Ha Shukla Sanamasha Uttarayanam. The process that starts with Agni, fire, which is Vairagya. Jyoti, Vivek, discriminative intellect. Aha, allowing the spiritual movement in everyday life. Then you don't live your life, suffering day by day. More and more exciting things, exhilarating things are waiting for you. The aha movement. And when these three progress, Shukla, as if the bhavana, feeling within, has become like the full moon. Rather, it begins to wax. Feeling is moon, and moon begins to become bigger and bigger. Bhavana movement. And then comes your samadhi movement, expansion in your boundary of your consciousness. Your consciousness has such a limited boundary. No matter how bright your eyes, you can't see the feelings of others. I'm joking, but the idea is human senses can bring in billions and trillions of things. But all that is just like in the computer. You see so many things. And ultimately you get tired, exhausted, go to sleep. So I was explaining samadhi movement. You are not in the limits of your senses, your mind, your intellect, your ego. Your consciousness expands. How much it enfolds the whole universe in three planes: physical, subtle, causal. And that leads you to ultimately to Rama, the real absolute Brahman, Uttarayana movement. You end up with the sun, not solar sun, the absolute, light of lights. And Lord Rama, whenever you are reminded of he is in the solar race, it is not so much for you to remember who was his father, etc. But turn your attention to this northern path. To that race Rama belongs. And within this race, when you come to the stage of the heart stage, Shukla, Krishna comes up. Same Rama becomes Krishna. And when compassion begins to ooze in that movement, Buddha. Rama, Krishna and Buddha all are in this Uttarayana movement. And with Rama, automatically you are including in that movement Krishna, Buddha. Rama is conducting himself to be exemplary for the spiritual seekers. And so that Rama's example becomes like a bridge, enabling people to cross over the ocean of the world process. यह सुदिग्गुह निषाद जब पाई, मुदित लिए प्रिय बंधु बोलाई. When this news reached the king of Shingaverpur, Guha Nishad, that's what I was explaining to Nishad, the devotee and friend of Rama. In the storyline, both were in the early stage in kindergarten school, friends. And go into more detailed story, he is the same Guha in Shiva Puran who came on the Bilwa tree. And he was a hunter, couldn't find sufficient deer or whatever. He became exhausted, little frustrated. He climbed upon a tree and began to throw little by little those leaves of the tree, and it happened to be on Shivalinga. Shiva was present, oval-shaped linga was under. So not only he dropped the triplets of bilwa leaf, but tears from his eyes. And it all ended up Shiva being very pleased, and he received the boon that he will be a friend of Rama. So he is the same Guha Nishad. The word Guha, cave within the heart. That's where the word Guru comes in, one who illumines the cave of the heart. Guha. Guha illuminer. And teller of Guhya stories. Guhya means teachings that are profound, which go touch the core of your heart. So that Guha Nishad in storyline invites all his relatives and near and dear ones. लिए यह सुधि गुह निषाद जब पाई, मुदित लिए प्रिय बंधु बोलाई, लिए फल मूल भेंट भरी भारा, मिलन चले ही हर्षु अपारा. For presenting offerings to Rama, they collected fruits, flowers, and other bulbar, sweet potato type of things. And they began to come towards Rama in the whole party with great joy. Kari dandavat bhet dhari aage, Prabhu hi bilokat ati anurage. And having come to Rama, they did dandavat. That's a special way of adoring. And with great love, Nishad began to look at Rama. Sahaj saneha vivash raghurayi, पूछी कुशल निकट बैठाई. Rama is touched by pure love, sahaj. When heart-based love is directed to Rama, Rama becomes exceedingly pleased. That's a description of if your love pleases God. Sahaj saneh vivas raghurayi. Raghurai, who is always free, but when loving gaze comes at him, vivas, he becomes helpless. What can he do? So he brought him close to himself, Puchi Kushal, and asked, how are you? Nikat Baitai, bringing him close to his own body, and asked, how are you? With lovingly. Nath Kushal Pad Pankaj Dekhen, Bhayau Bhag Bhajan Jan Lekhen. And Guha Nishad, he said, O Lord, having seen your lotus feet, I am extremely fortunate. My fortune goes beyond anyone's imagination. The entire world is yours. I and all my family members are your servant. It's a Dasya Bhava and Sakya Bhava both blended. Just to remind you, Bhakti movement requires a special feeling in your heart. That's called bhav. And that special feeling gives you a special type of delight called rasa. Shanta bhav, that's something by abstract. Having listened to scriptures, etc., you are for love of God. But you don't know the exact form of that love. But it stays undistinguished, unrecognized, we call shant. Now, when it comes to certain distinction, vatsalya bhav, God is loved, but love that doesn't demand anything. It's like mother's love for a baby. That love doesn't hold any type of mental expectation. It is spontaneous. Next one is called Dasya Bhav. Feeling that you are an instrument in divine hand. You are a channel of what God does. And therefore, you do not hold any stress on your head. You don't look around and say, what will happen to the world if things are going on like that? You simply do your duties to the best of your capacity. While doing it, develop the attitude you are pleasing Rama. And keep your mind free. Next stage is called Maitri Bhav. Friend. Sakha. First let me give you the implication. Maitri. Ma term is Ma term Amrit. That goes into three directions. That touches your thought, word and deed. Or a vision that makes you develop a profounder understanding of seer, seen and sight. Triputi. That's Maitri Bhav. And another word for Maitri is Sakha, Sakya. Sa is Sat movement. That's what you do. Sanama, Satsanga is a Sat movement. Sa. Kha, Khag. Kha is Akasha. A movement that makes you fly. Where? Above the rainbow. And Nishad, Guha Nishad, is that type of, he's Dasya as well as his Sakya. He's Rama's channel, slave, and Rama's friend. And finally comes Shringara Bhav. That's illustrated as a Radha Krishna. Or what I always talk to, Lali Mere Lal Ki. The soul develops that God is absolute love. नाथ कुशल पद पंकज देखें, भयउ भाग भाजन जन लेखें. Nishad, Guha Nishad said, O Lord, having enjoyed the darshan of your lotus feet, I am among the rare fortunate souls who have enjoyed your darshan. You are the possessor of the entire universe. I, along with my family and friends, all of us are your servant. कृपा करिए पुर धर धारिए पाऊं, थापिए जनु सब लोग सिहाऊं. Be gracious. Come to Sringaverpur, his capital city, and allow this servant of yours to become viral. Bring fame. So that all begin to praise my special fortune. कहेहु सत्य सबु सखा सुजाना, मोहि दिन है पितु आयसु आना. Lord Rama said, O dear friend, whatever you say is real, true. But I am under the instructions of my father. I am bound to do what my father has told me to do. Baraschari dasa vasuban muni brata beshu aharu grama vasu nahi uchitam suni guhahi bhayau dukha bharu. According to the sentence of my father, for 14 years we must live in a forest. I must live in a forest, in a one. In the form of munis, sannyasis. Having their style of clothes and their style of eating fruits, roots and fruits of the forest. In brief, we are going to be living in the forest to observe my father's command. Hearing this, Guha was extremely distressed. राम लखन सिय रूप निहारी, कहीं सप्रेम ग्राम नर नारी. when they heard about what Rama said, all those who had come along with Guha, men and women, they all began to look at Rama, Lakshmana and Sita. How tender age. And they began to say, to whisper among themselves, Te pitu maatu kahahu sakhi kaise, jinha pathaye ban balak aise. Oh friends, what type of parents are they who have ordered these young, tender youths, according to their words, children, into this one forest. एक कहाही भला भूपति कीन्हा, लोचन लाहु हमहि विधि दीन्हा. And one of them, who is little more mature in his understanding, says that such a wonderful thing the king did. Otherwise, we will not have had the opportunity to have Rama's darshan. Tab nishad pati ura anumana, tarushin shupa manohar jana. Then Guha Nishad, the friend, knowing that he will not go into his capital city, looked around and found a wonderful tree called Ashoka tree. Another word for it is Sinshupa tree. It brings out beautiful bunches of flowers, red flowers. Let me give you some simple touch of meaning. Saintly personalities are named after as one, tapo one. The one term is not literal, not forest. But forest becomes a basis for allowing your heart to expand. Because in forest you hear all the birds singing and trees are always dancing and there's a lot of relaxing situation. The message that is there that if your mind develops bhakti, devotion to God, and you look at the world as God's creation, then you are in that type of mystic forest. And in this mystic forest, you are looking for that resting place where all sorrows come to an end. And that depends upon your bhavana and your surrender. You don't go under other trees that brings mangoes and make you amorous. The tree that gives you rabaras, that's a Ashoka tree. Lai Raghunath hi ठाऊं दिखावा, कहु राम सब भांति सुहावा. And Nishad Raj showed Rama the place under the Ashoka tree. And Rama said, it's a very nice place, wonderful. Purjan kari joharu ghar aaye, Raghubar sandhya karan sidhaye. all those people who had come with Nishad, they went to their homes having offered adorations to Rama. And Rama himself now performed his evening worship, preparing for a restful night. Guha savari saathari dasai, kush kishalaya maya mridula suhai. The friend Guha collected beautiful soft leaves and kusha grass and created wonderful seat for Rama. And they brought also in leafy baskets fruits that were very sweet, nectarine, pure. Siya sumantra bhrata sahit kanda moola phalakhai sayan kinha raghuvansha mani paye palotat bhai. Sita ji, Sumantra, minister, brother Lakshmana, and Rama, they ate the fruits that they brought in wonderful baskets, kanda mool phal. And then Rama began to retire, and Lakshmana worked upon his feet, in modern terms, reflexology, with great love. Uthe lakhanu prabhu sovat jani, kahi sachi vahi sovan bridubani. And when Rama fell asleep, Lakshmana got up, and soft and whispering voice, he said to Sumantra, that you should also go and sleep. And both of them moved away from Rama, Lakshmana ready to keep guarding Rama so he wouldn't sleep. And seeing him in that situation, Guha also didn't want to sleep. In brief, they started talking to each other. Guha bolai paharu pratiti, ठाव ठाव राखे अति प्रीति, आप लखन पही बैठे जाई, कटि भाथी सर चाप चढ़ाई. And Guha, being the king of that land, that area, he had his guards placed in different areas to protect Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita. And he himself, preparing himself to be ready if there is any situation were to develop, ready to shoot with his bow and arrow. And he sat near Lakshmana. Sovata prabhu nihari nishadu, bhayu prema barpas hridaya vishadu. And then he looked at Rama from a distance, sleeping, and his heart was filled with distress, sorrow. His whole body began to shake with that feeling. The Rama who is so wonderful, a Rama family, and they are in this forest. While all the prosperity can be available for them, but now they are just under a tree. And overwhelmed with love for Rama, he began to speak to Lakshmana. Bhupati bhavan subhaye suhava, surpati sadanuna patatara pava. O Lakshman, the palace of King Dasharatha is wonderful. Even Indra's palace is not like Dasharatha. Dasharatha's palace excels Indra's palace. Most beautiful pearls go to adorn the palace in different areas, as if Kamadeva, god of love himself, and by his own hand has created everything of that palace. Shuchi subichitra subhogamaya, suman sugandha suvas, palanga manju mani deepa jaha, sab vidhi sakal supas. Pure. All types of enjoyable objects around them. Fragrant with beautiful flowers. Beautiful beds. Lamps are based on pearls and crystals. It's the old-time luxury house. All imaginable comfort is there in the Dasharatha's house. Here again, in a very subtle point, describing bhoga and moksha. Dasharatha is the climax of bhoga. All worldly prosperity climaxes with Dasharatha. That also is an act of virtue. Even for attaining that, you have to have a lot of virtuous qualities. But if you stay only in that bhoga level, you are not liberated. So Rama movement doesn't stay with bhoga, and led by divine plan, Rama has to move away. So outwardly when you look, bhoga on one side and another side, Ashoka tree and vast forest, nothing cozy. Lot of rosy, but not cozy. ते सिय राम साथरी सोये, शमित बसन बिनु जाहि न जोये. And now that very Sita and Ram who enjoyed that luxury, look at that, sleeping on grass and straw and without having normal clothes. It's unbearable to behold this pitiable state in which Rama and Sita, Lakshmana are there. And not only that, they were in such warm, cozy atmosphere, mother, father, all the people who loved them, their maid servants, their servants, and all those, they have left them all. And look at that, what's happened. And with this, we hold off. The story will go on. This again is a this simple pill being given, a pill of Vairagya. The entire world and all karmic attainments, because the world and worldly existence led by karma. So all that you can enjoy, if you can imagine all the enjoyment people had in the past, all the enjoyment the earth can afford, because whatever you are enjoying is little compared to 100 years later, when the progress goes sky high. And even that will be lesser in the next 100 years. So all those enjoyments are ultimately alpam, little. For Rama, this is not, in brief, all this is illusion. Your goal is nivritti. Your goal is to attain liberation. And with this, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukma Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Ramayana.